right, deep divers, buckle up because we're diving into a topic that might not sound like a total thrill ride at first. Renter's insurance. The thing you file away with your lease agreement and kind of hope you never have to think about again. Well, get ready for some aha moments, because it turns out this unassuming little policy is packed with surprising benefits that can save you money and stress down the road. You guys specifically requested this deep dive, so we're here to help you uncover why renter's insurance is way more relevant and valuable than you might think.
Yeah, what's so fascinating about renter's insurance is that it's often seen as just another expense, but it's actually a really powerful financial tool, kind of like a secret weapon for renters.
A secret weapon.
I like
Like that. So before we unleash its powers, let's break down what it actually is.
At its core, renter's insurance is designed to protect you as a renter, your stuff, and your liability. Not the building itself, that's the landlord's domain. Think of it as a safety net for all the what-if scenarios that can come with renting, like a burst pipe ruining your furniture or a guest accidentally getting injured in your apartment.
Okay, that makes sense. But wouldn't my landlord's insurance cover some of that?
Here's where it gets interesting. Your landlord's insurance focuses on the building itself, the walls, the roof, those kinds of things. It's there to protect their investment, not your personal belongings or liability. Renter's insurance is like your own personal shield, protecting you from financial burdens that could arise from unexpected events.
So it's like two separate circles of protection working in tandem.
Exactly. And that personal shield, your renter's insurance, typically has three main components: personal man property, liability, and additional living expenses.
All right, let's unpack those. Starting with personal property coverage. It's not just about replacing your couch after a fire, right?
Okay.
What are some things people might not realize this covers?
You're right, it's not just the big ticket items. Think about all the things you've accumulated, like clothes, kitchenware, books, electronics, even that surprisingly expensive coffee maker. Personal property coverage protects all of that from a whole slew of named perils, like fire, theft, vandalism, even things like windstorms and hail damage. And get this, it can even cover your belongings if they're stolen from your car. Or even, wait for it, a storage unit.
Whoa. That's a lot more comprehensive than I initially thought. It's like having a guardian angel watching over your stuff no matter where it is.
And here's a little known fact. Many policies also offer coverage for loss of use, meaning if your place becomes uninhabitable due to a covered event, like that burst pipe we talked about, it can help cover temporary living expenses like hotel stays and meals while you're displaced. Imagine having to suddenly move out and eat every meal at restaurants for weeks. That gets expensive fast.
That's a lifesaver, especially if you're in a tight spot financially. It takes a huge weight off your shoulders during an already stressful situation. Okay, let's move on to liability coverage. This is the one that protects you if someone gets hurt on your property, right?
Precisely. Liability coverage is all about protecting you from those oops moments that can lead to some serious financial headaches. Let's say a friend trips on a rug in your apartment and breaks their wrist. Your renter's insurance could cover their medical bills and even legal fees if they decide to sue.
So it's not just about physical injuries either.
You got it. It also covers you if you accidentally damage someone else's property. Imagine you're moving a bookcase and accidentally put a hole in your neighbor's wall. That could cost you a pretty penny to repair, but liability coverage would step in to help cover the costs.
That's a relief to know. It's amazing how many situations are covered that I never even considered. So we've talked about what renter's insurance does cover, but what are some common misconceptions about what it doesn't cover?
One of the biggest myths is that renter's insurance is super expensive. In reality, the average cost is surprisingly low, often between $15 and $30 per month.
Wait, so it's cheaper than my daily latte habit. That's a game changer. I think I can handle skipping a few lattes for that kind of peace of mind.
Exactly. It's a small price to pay for the protection it provides. Another common misconception is that your landlord's insurance covers your belongings. But remember, their insurance focuses on the building structure, not your personal possessions.
Right, those two separate circles of protection.
And finally, some people think, I don't own enough to justify renter's insurance. But even if you think you don't have a lot of stuff, replacing everything after a fire or theft can add up faster than you think.
It's like saying you don't know what you've got till it's gone, right? I think it's time for everyone listening to take a good look around their apartment and really consider what it would cost to replace everything.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, deep divers, before we move on, let's take a moment to really appreciate the value proposition here. Renter's insurance is more than just a policy. It's like having a financial superhero in your corner, ready to swoop in and save the day when unexpected events threaten your rental bliss. It protects your belongings, shields you from liability, and helps you maintain your lifestyle even when things go sideways.
It's all about having that peace of mind so you can focus on enjoying your life, not worrying about what might happen.
And that, my friends, is priceless. We'll be right back to uncover more secrets about renter's insurance, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of renter's insurance.
We've already uncovered some surprising benefits, but I'm curious about the bigger picture here. Why is renter's insurance becoming so important in today's world?
That's a great question. Think about all the uncertainties we face these days. Economic shifts, climate change, even just the everyday what-ifs that can kind of throw a wrench in our plans.
Yeah, it feels like there are risks lurking around every corner, from sudden storms to unexpected accidents.
Exactly. And that's where renter's insurance steps in, providing a sense of stability amidst all the uncertainty. It's like a safety net, knowing that you're not alone if something unexpected happens.
I never thought of it that way, but it makes total sense. It's about having that peace of mind so you can focus on living your life without constantly worrying about potential risks.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And, it's not just individuals who are recognizing the importance of renter's insurance. More and more landlords are actually requiring it as part of their lease agreements.
Really, why is that becoming more common?
Landlords are realizing that it benefits everyone involved. It helps mitigate risks for both them and their tenants by ensuring everyone has the proper coverage in place.
So it's like a win-win for both sides of the rental equation.
Exactly. For landlords, it can help prevent disputes or legal issues down the line, knowing that their tenants are financially protected if their belongings are damaged or they're held liable for an accident.
And for renters, it can even make them more desirable tenants, showing landlords that they're responsible and proactive about protecting their assets.
Absolutely. It sends a positive signal to landlords, showcasing your commitment to being a reliable tenant. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about actually getting renter's insurance. I know some people might find the process a bit intimidating, but it's actually much simpler than you might think.
Okay, so let's break it down. Where do you even begin?
The first step is to gather information about your rental situation and your belongings. What type of dwelling are you renting? Where is it located? What's the estimated value of your possessions? And do you have any specific coverage needs based on your lifestyle or hobbies?
It's like creating a personalized profile of your rental life, taking inventory of what matters most to you.
Precisely. Once you have a clear picture of your needs, you can start shopping around for quotes from different insurance companies. There are tons of online platforms and resources that let you compare policies and prices side by side so you can find the best fit for your budget.
It sounds a lot like shopping for anything else online, but instead of shoes or gadgets, you're shopping for peace of mind.
And just like with any other important purchase, it's essential to do your research and compare different options. You wouldn't just buy the first pair of shoes you see, right?
Definitely not. I like to read reviews, compare prices, and make sure I'm getting the best value for my money.
The same principle applies to renter's insurance. Don't hesitate to reach out to insurance agents directly to ask questions and get personalized advice. They can help you navigate the options and make sure you understand the coverage details.
It's like having a guide in the often complex world of insurance, someone who can break down the jargon and explain the fine print.
Exactly. They can be invaluable resources in helping you make an informed decision.
Speaking of decisions, what are some key factors people should consider when comparing different renters' insurance policies?
First and foremost, pay attention to the coverage limits. This is the maximum amount your insurance company will pay out for a covered claim. Make sure the limits align with the estimated value of your belongings, so you're not underinsured if something major happens.
So that home inventory we talked about earlier is really important for determining how much coverage you actually need.
Absolutely. It's like creating a treasure map of your belongings, helping you assess their value and ensure you have adequate protection.
That's a great analogy. Now, what about deductibles? Those are the amounts you pay out of pocket before your insurance kicks in, right?
You got it. A lower deductible means you'll pay less out of pocket if you need to file a claim, but it usually comes with a higher monthly premium. A higher deductible means lower monthly payments, but a bigger chunk of change if you need to make a claim.
So it's a balancing act, weighing upfront costs with potential out-of-pocket expenses later on.
Right. It's important to choose a deductible that you're comfortable with based on your financial situation and risk tolerance.
And what about those sneaky exclusions or limitations that can sometimes trip people up?
Always read the fine print. Pay close attention to what perils are covered, what types of belongings are included or excluded, and any specific situations that might affect your coverage. Understanding these details can prevent surprises and ensure you have the right protection in place.
So it's not just about comparing numbers. It's about understanding the nuances of each policy to make sure it aligns with your specific needs.
Precisely. And one more thing to consider is the reputation and financial stability of the insurance company itself. You want to choose a provider that is reputable, reliable, and financially sound to ensure they can actually fulfill their obligations if you ever need to file a claim.
It's like choosing a partner and protecting your assets, someone you can trust to have your back when you need it most.
Exactly. Do your research, read reviews, and choose a company that you feel confident and comfortable working with.
Great advice. Now, I know we talked about some common discounts earlier, but are there any other ways people can save money on renter's insurance?
Absolutely. One strategy is to boost your security measures. Installing a security system, smoke detectors, or even just sturdy locks can often lead to premium discounts. It's a win-win. You enhance your safety and potentially lower your insurance costs at the same time.
I love those win-win scenarios.
Another tip is to maintain a good credit history. In many states, insurance companies use credit-based insurance scores to assess risk and determine premiums. A good credit score can often translate to lower insurance costs, so it pays to be financially responsible.
So taking care of your finances can benefit you in more ways than one.
Right.
What about bundling? I've heard that can lead to some significant savings.
You're right. Many insurance companies offer bundling discounts, allowing you to save money by combining your renter's insurance with other policies like auto or umbrella insurance with the same provider. It streamlines your insurance management and potentially puts more money back in your pocket.
It's like creating a comprehensive safety net for your life, all under one roof.
Exactly. And remember, it's all about finding the right fit for your individual needs and circumstances.
Great insights. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to a key takeaway we touched upon earlier: the importance of peace of mind.
You know, one of the most valuable aspects of renter's insurance is the sense of security it provides. It's about knowing that you've taken proactive steps to protect yourself and your belongings, allowing you to navigate the uncertainties of life with greater confidence.
It's about freeing up mental space to focus on what truly matters, pursuing your passions, building relationships, and creating a life you love, without being weighed down by constant worry.
Absolutely. That peace of mind is truly priceless.
Well said. We'll be back in a moment for the final part of our deep dive into renter's insurance, where we'll explore some real-life scenarios and answer some of your burning questions. So stay tuned, deep divers. Welcome back, deep divers, to the final part of our exploration into the world of renter's insurance. I hope you're feeling empowered and ready to tackle those what-if scenarios with confidence.
Absolutely, and we've covered a lot of ground, from debunking common myths to understanding the different types of coverage. Now let's put that knowledge into action by exploring some real-life scenarios.
Okay, I'm ready for a test drive. Let's say a sudden storm rolls in and a tree limb crashes through your window, damaging your furniture and electronics. What are the first steps you should take if you have renter's insurance?
Well, safety first, right? Make sure you and anyone else in the apartment are safe and sound. If there are any injuries or immediate dangers, contact emergency services right away. Once you're in the clear, it's time to document the damage. Take photos and videos of everything affected and gather any receipts or documentation you have for damaged items.
So it's like creating a visual and paper trail of the incident to support your claim.
Exactly. The more detailed your documentation, the smoother the claims process will likely be. Once you've documented everything, notify your landlord and your insurance company as soon as possible. Provide them with the documentation you've gathered and follow their instructions carefully.
It sounds like clear communication is key throughout the entire process.
Absolutely. Keep everyone in the loop and be responsive to their requests for information or updates. This will help ensure your claim is processed efficiently and fairly.
Okay, that makes sense. But what if your landlord is unresponsive or difficult to work with? I imagine that could complicate things.
That's a valid concern. But remember, your renter's insurance policy is a contract between you and your insurance company, not your landlord. Your coverage is independent of your landlord's actions or inactions.
So even if my landlord drags their feet, I can still move forward with my claim.
Yes, you should still contact your insurance company and provide them with all the necessary documentation. Focus on communicating clearly and following their guidance throughout the process. If you encounter challenges with your landlord, consider seeking legal advice to understand your rights and options.
It's a good reminder that renters have resources and legal protections available to help them navigate those tricky situations. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about liability claims. Let's say a friend is injured while visiting your apartment. How does renter's insurance come into play in a scenario like that?
This is where liability coverage really shines. If your friend's injury is deemed to be your responsibility, your renter's insurance could cover their medical expenses, legal fees, and even potential settlements or judgments if they decide to sue. It's designed to protect you from the financial fallout of those unexpected accidents.
It's a sobering thought, but accidents do happen, and having that liability protection can provide immense peace of mind.
Absolutely. It safeguards you from potentially devastating financial consequences that could arise from something as simple as a slip and fall.
Okay, one last thing I want to emphasize is the importance of understanding your policy. I know we've touched on this throughout our deep dive, but what are some key elements renters should pay close attention to when reviewing their renter's insurance policy?
Great question. Start with the declarations page. It's like the Cliffs Notes version of your policy, summarizing your coverage limits, deductibles, and policy premiums. Pay close attention to the types of perils covered and any exclusions or limitations.
So it's a good place to start to get a quick overview of what's included and what's not.
Exactly. Next, delve into the policy's definitions section. This might sound a bit dry, but it's important for clarifying key terms and concepts, ensuring you fully grasp the scope of your coverage.
It's like learning the language of your insurance policy so you can decode all the technical jargon.
And finally, familiarize yourself with the claims process outlined in your policy. Understanding the steps involved can save you time and stress if you ever need to file a claim in the future. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge and taking ownership of your insurance protection.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive into renter's insurance, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Renter's insurance isn't just about protecting your stuff, it's about protecting your lifestyle, your financial well-being, and your peace of mind.
It's about having the freedom to live your life to the fullest, knowing that you have a safety net in place to catch you if you stumble.
Beautifully said. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the surprisingly fascinating world of renter's insurance. We hope you've gained valuable insights and feel empowered to make informed decisions about protecting your rental journey. Remember, knowledge is power and peace of mind is priceless.
Until next time, stay curious and stay protected.